and regional weather follow shortly. This is HTV.
From the studios of ITN, the news and sport with Carol Barnes and Graham Miller.
Welcome to the programme. The headlines tonight. Evidence that beef is beginning to return to the national menu. John Major tells the Tory faithful prosperity is on the way.
And in sport, Rough Quest, the first favourite for 14 years to win the National.
There are signs tonight that beef sales may be starting to recover from the crisis of confidence over BSE. Sainsbury's says it sold more British beef than on any other day in its history after halving prices. And other high street butchers say their sales have picked up too. But the war of words over the crisis raged on. Here's our political correspondent Tom Bradby.
The beef crisis tonight took another extraordinary turn. After cutting its prices, Sainsbury's said it had sold more beef today than at any time in its history. Other evidence may be anecdotal, but that trend was certainly mirrored at this North London butcher, which hasn't cut its prices.
Our beef sales have gone back up to normal. I'm absolutely thrilled to pieces. I can't wait to ring the farm tonight and say, yeah, let's have some more beef.
But so far, this has done little to dampen down the political row, which continues to be vicious.
The actions of Harriet Harman and Tony Blair carries, if anything, an even greater responsibility on this. He is the leader of the opposition. These are not the actions of decent people.
The government failed to act. They simply accused the consumers of being mad, and now they're trying to blame Labour for their own failure to act and their own incompetence.
Paddy Ashdown was holding a crisis meeting with farmers in the West Country. He said the problems wouldn't be solved by politicians shouting at each other. The farmers were worried, but their union said tonight that today's upsurge in sales was extremely encouraging. Tom Bradby, ITN.
John Major launched a series of new policies in a speech to Conservative activists in Harrogate today. Among them, help paying for long-term care for the elderly. Tonight, Labour said he'd failed to address the public's real concerns. ITN's political editor, Michael Brunson, reports.
Whether or not John Major either decides on or is able to survive until a spring election next year, the day of reckoning isn't far off. So this was a speech about how the Tories, at present way behind Labour, plan to win a fifth term.
It is time to start selling what we care about and what we're going to do.
The steady hears from this overwhelmingly middle-class Harrogate audience pleased Mr Major's advisers. They believe that responding to middle-class values and aspirations more effectively than the other parties will help the Conservatives win. So, add to tougher sentences for burglars and better discipline in schools, the ideas of more help with old age care and the return of cottage hospitals.
Our aim now is a very far-reaching one. It is to allow GPs' practices to become the cottage hospitals of the 21st century, to ensure that we offer better health care closer to people than any other nation can provide.
The problem is that all these new ideas are constantly overshadowed by what seems to be a perpetual air of crisis which surrounds Mr Major's government. Even today, he felt that he had to offer more reassuring words about what he called the collective hysteria over beef. Michael Brunson, ITN, Harrogate.
There's been violence and chaos on the streets of Hong Kong as thousands of people rush to beat the deadline to apply for British overseas passports. Our Asia correspondent Mark Austin reports from Hong Kong.
For weeks, thousands of Hong Kong residents worried about the handover to Communist China have been queuing for crucial British travel documents. Today, just 24 hours before the deadline, tempers boiled over as one group accused another of queue jumping. Police failed to intervene immediately. It's one of the rare occasions in this nervous colony when tensions have been brought to the surface so graphically. The police eventually restored calm, and the handful of injured were treated by ambulance staff. More than 1 million people are eligible for the documents that lead to a British overseas passport, which in turn will allow visa-free travel to Britain, though not the right to live there.
Still, they turn up here tonight, and tomorrow police and immigration officials are bracing themselves for tens of thousands more applicants, all anxious to secure themselves an escape route from Hong Kong should things go wrong after the handover to China. Mark Austin, ITN, Hong Kong.
A former paratrooper extradited from America over a bomb attack more than 20 years ago has been remanded in custody. Peter McMullen, who's from Caerhun, appeared in court at York, charged with bombing a barracks in North Yorkshire. Scotland Yard say tonight they're questioning 7 men after an operation to free a woman who had been kidnapped and tortured. The woman had been held in West London since Wednesday. A large amount of money, drugs and firearms were recovered during the rescue. The 3 British soldiers given life sentences for killing a Danish tour guide in Cyprus are being discharged from the army in disgrace. Privates Alan Ford, Justin Fowler and Jeff Purnell will leave within weeks. Now today's sports news, and with the details, here's Graham Miller.
Rough Quest has become the first favourite for 14 years to win the Grand National. There was an anxious wait before a steward's inquiry confirmed the result. Peter Staunton reports from Aintree.
Just 28 runners came to the line for the cleanest of starts. But if it was a small field, it produced a thrilling race. And despite the traditional cavalry charge around the first circuit, there were surprisingly few fallers. By the end, though, it was down to just 2, Encore and Peur being tracked relentlessly by the favourite, Rough Quest. And then the moment of controversy, as Quest stormed into the lead, nudging the fading Encore du Peur on the way. Rough Quest passed the line to the delight of the entry punters. But as jockey Mick Fitzgerald led him in, the stewards were beginning their inquiry.
It was accidental. I think 2 tired horses down at 4.5 miles. I don't know. Have to wait and see.
But Rough Quest's moment of glory was delayed by just 10 minutes.
I don't think I've ever been a sprite in all my life. You know, it's one thing to win a national, but then have, the chance of having it taken away. It's horrific. You know, and it feels like 10 days, not 10 minutes.
So a dramatic finale to the National and a happy ending for Rough Quest. And for once, the biggest lottery in racing went with the form book. Peter Staunton, ITN, Aintree.
The race to stay in the Premiership is nearing the final furlong, and Queen's Park Rangers have nudged their noses in front. Kevin Gallen got Rangers' 3rd goal against fellow strugglers Southampton to ensure their first home win of the year. 2 from Ruel Fox helped Spurs come from behind to add to Coventry's problems. And John McGinley earned Bolton a point against Manchester City in their relegation battle. So Bolton swapped places with QPR at the bottom, Coventry drop a place, Southampton now have those games in hand. At the top of the first, Sunderland produced a grandstand finish to maintain their 4-point lead. 2-1 down to Huddersfield, their substitute Michael Bridges, he's only 17, he scored twice in the final 7 minutes to secure the victory. And in Scotland, Annie McCoist's hat-trick helped Rangers extend their lead over Celtic to 8 points. In motor racing, Damon Hill will start from pole position in tomorrow's Brazilian Grand Prix at the Interlagos circuit. Hill kept up his position as championship favourite by posting the quickest qualifying lap. His Williams teammate Jacques Villeneuve will start 3rd on the grid. Rugby League's new Summer Super League kicked off in England tonight. Wigan took on Oldham at Boundary Park. A hat-trick by Gary Connolly started the rout and showed why Wigan are tipped to continue their domination of the sport.
Tonight's winning numbers in the lottery are 12, 26, 27, 28, 37 and 49. The bonus number is 43. Camelot say no one won the jackpot, which will roll over to next week. Finally, British summertime starts at 1 AM, so don't forget to put your clocks forward an hour. That's it tonight from Graham and me and the ITN Weekend team. Good night.
Good night.